Up next on Book TV, Afterwards, an hour-long discussion between a guest host and the author of a new book. This week, Uruguayan author Eduardo Galeano talks about his latest book, Mirrors, Stories of Almost Everyone. He also discusses his 1971 book, Open Veins of Latin America, which Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez gave to President Obama during the 5th Summit of the Americas in April. Mr. Galeano is interviewed by John Dingus, journalism professor at Columbia University and the author of The Condor Years, How Pinochet and His Allies Brought Terrorism to 3 Continents.
Hello, we're here with one of the authors that I have admired my whole life, Eduardo Galeano. Eduardo Galeano is born in Uruguay. I mentioned to him just a minute ago that I've had his books in my head for decades. One of the reasons that I became involved in Latin America and in Latin American studies and writing as a journalist about Latin America was because of your works. So it's really a great pleasure for me to be here with you.
Thank you.
You've been in the States for a while now. How long have you been?
10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes, you just arrived.
Yes, just arrived.
And I know you're going to New York
yes,
after
New York
this.
and afterwards other cities.
Well, you
Trying
have
to help my new baby called Mirrors. Help it to walk. It's a
well,
baby.
This is the book, Mirrors, Stories of Almost Everyone. But of course, I checked out the Spanish title.
Mm-hmm.
It's Espejos.
Sí. Una historia casi
Una
universal.
historia casi universal.
Yes.
Which is a little bit different. It means universal history, almost.
Almost, because if you say universal history, it sounds so solemn and arrogant. It's just, my intention was to write a homage to human diversity, without boundaries, without frontiers, or frontiers of time, frontiers of the map, no frontiers at all, freely. It was a mad adventure, and the titles are more or less trying to say, it's serious, but don't be afraid.
Well, I think it's less serious when it's called Stories of Almost Everyone, because almost everyone is in this book. And particularly people who are not usually mentioned in world history.
Yes.
Give us a couple examples of the kinds of stories that you're telling that you think characterize what kind of a book this is.
Yes, it's my intention was, I never know if the result is at the level of the good intentions, but the good intention was to rescue the beauty of the terrestrial rainbow. We are much more than what we are told we are. Official history have mutilated our past, or the big media is mutilating present history. So we are much more than what we are told. For instance, the invisible, the unknown, the anonymous people who is doing history, making history, and doesn't know they are doing it. Women suppressed, deleted in official history, just released to a decorative place. Black people, Indians, the south of the world, China, India, I don't know, so many colors to be added to our rainbow, which is much more beautiful than the other one in the sky.
Well, I don't know if people will realize what kind of a book this is, because this is not a history book.
No.
It's not a novel. It's not a work of nonfiction, serious analysis. It's a book of stories.
Yes.
And I think the camera will catch this. This is how long the stories are. Sometimes the stories are
Very short, yes.
a half a page.
Yes.
Most of the time they're between 1 and 1.5 pages. Just for fun, would you read the first story in the book, just to give us an idea?
Born of Desire, or A Feast on Food.
Born of Desire.
Life was alone, no name, no memory. It had hands, but no one to touch. It had a tongue, but no one to talk to. Life was one, and one was known. Then desire drew his bow. The arrow of desire split life down the middle, and life was two. When they caught sight of each other, they laughed. And when they touched each other, they laughed again.
I think that's a great example. And of course, it made me think of Genesis.
Yes, it's a sort of, myths and legends and are part of real life as dreams and nightmares are part of daily life.
It's one of the most affectionate pieces in the hundreds of pieces. I think you said someplace there's 600 short stories like this.
Yes, 600 very, very short stories who finally survived after a process of cutting and renouncing, sacrificing some of the, I think, 800 or 800 and a half short stories in the first version. But it was composed as a symphony, and so the melodies would have a continuity and a rhythm, and some of the stories were, so sad. They touched my back, saying, "Why? Am I ugly? Am I not beautiful enough? Am I stupid? Why did you sacrifice me? I want to be there." "Yes," I said, "of course, I know you want, but I can't. Sorry, but I can't." This is a problem with these mosaicos, that I love to write, that there are so many little pieces, short pieces, and I am in love with each one of them, but they must create a whole world, and in the whole world there are some little pieces that are, I'm sorry, but...
You wrote another book called Memory of Fire.
3 books, yes, it's a trilogy.
3, which is the trilogy. I read that in the 1980s, and you do similar things.
Yes,
it's more historical, it's more overtly historical, but the narrative structure is similar. You start out with the kind of Genesis. It's all about Latin America.
No, about America.
About America.
Including North America. The Americas, because we are America also in the South. No?
Absolutely.
The language has suppressed us, but we are America also, and Memory of Fire was, yes, I was trying to rescue the collective memory of the Americas in 3 volumes. This was something like 1,000 short stories at all in the 3 volumes. And this is much more audacious, much more, it's a mad project because it's the entire world.
It is the entire world, the entire history.